What's going on, everybody? Ronnie DiMaggio here, product specialist at BMW of Morristown. That's Austin behind the camera, and in today's video we're going to be doing a walk around and overview with this 2022 BMW M3 Competition xDrive. So this is a 2022 model BMW M3, which means it's a G80 generation, which came out for 21. It replaces the F80 generation M3 that ended in 2018, and the G80's been out since 21, and we're just now filming a video on it, so we're really excited to have this car to show it to you guys, and this one happens to be a really cool spec, which we will get into in the video. So like in all of our videos, we're going to go over all of the exterior styling elements. We're going to hop inside and go over the cockpit area, the rear seat, the trunk, and of course we're going to talk about some of the performance aspects of this car as well. So with that said, being an M car, let's start with what is underneath the hood. So the G80, the G82, G83, all of the latest M3 and M4 models use BMW's S58 engine. So it is a 3-liter twin turbocharged inline 6 based on the B58 series engine. The S58 is the M version of that motor. In competition trim, which this car is a competition, it makes 503 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. Allegedly, I say allegedly because BMW tends to underrate their M car engine power figures, so it's very likely that this car is making quite a bit more power than what BMW says. It is a really great engine. It's kind of like a hot rod motor kind of feel because it only has 3 liters of displacement, not a ton. To get 500 horsepower out of 3 liters, you got to throw a lot of boost at it, you got to throw a lot of timing at it, you got to have a pretty aggressive setup, and it feels that when you drive it. It is very tame when you want it to be, just as a street car. If you want to just cruise around, take the family out to dinner, you can get away with that without anybody knowing that it's really a beast of an engine. So the S58 is fantastic, and it's robust. It's proven to be reliable so far. It makes a lot of power. It's just an awesome engine. So that is the S58. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about some of the exterior styling elements. So when the G80 first came out with the big grills, it's kind of the elephant in the room when you talk about styling with this car. There are a lot of people that were not into it. I will be honest with you guys, when I first saw this a picture of this car when it came out, I was like, oh no, they kind of messed that up, didn't they? But as I see it in person, and when I look at this car, especially in black, it looks incredible. It's so aggressive. It is so angry looking. I said before in our F80 video that I think the F80 is a prettier car, and it is, but the G80 is much more aggressive, and you're buying an M3, you want aggressive, and this car does aggressive well. Obviously the kidney grills are gigantic. They span basically the entire height of the bumper. You have these nice little cutouts in the hood, and the hood does kind of bulge up in a power dome-like manner, like the F80 to the E90 to the E46 had that power dome. G80 has a similar thing going on. You have these nice big vents in honeycomb on this car. If you get the carbon fiber exterior package, those are carbon fiber kind of like 2-hold configuration. Those look really cool. So the front end is bold, it's different, but it looks really good. As I've come to know the car and spent more time with them, I think it looks really nice. Taking a look at the headlights, this one is equipped with LEDs. You can option up to a laser light if you would like. I think the laser light's the way to go in my opinion. They're way brighter. They have the nice kind of extended Corona ring look, so you have nicer looking DRLs, but LEDs look fine, they do the job. But overall, I think the front end of this car looks really good. There are some people that will probably flame me in the comments for saying that, but I think the G80 front end looks fantastic. It's so aggressive, and it looks really good for the M3. If we want to come around to the side of the car, we can take a look at these wheels. These are the 825M in Orbit Gray. So you see these wheels a lot in bicolor. Don't see them too often in Orbit Gray. I think they look really nice. So the spokes themselves, like this area is Orbit Gray. You have a nice machined lip in a lighter silver on the outside, and then hiding behind these wheels you have your drilled rotor and a red brake caliper. You can choose between blue and black for the brake caliper as well, or if you get the carbon ceramics, you can get a gold caliper. So nice looking wheel, nice looking brakes, and good performing wheels and brakes as well. So the brakes are 6 pistons, and they stop the car on a dime. 19-inch wheels, Pirelli P0 tires. If you get lucky, you can get Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's as well, but the P0s are a great tire as well. So really good looking and high performing functional brake package on this car. It's a 19 in the front and it's a 20 in the back. The back is a 285, the front is a 275, so it is a stagger as well. Some more styling elements right here. We have our little fin that we've seen on M3s for generations now. Looks really nice, and with competition cars, you get the black badge with the competition logo, which looks really cool. We also have the M winged mirror cap on the M3, of course. Adds that extra little aggressive element to the front end styling of the car. That's why when you see like a dead on front end shot of this car, the M wing mirror cap really makes a difference in how aggressive the car looks. Speaking of aggressive, this is a pretty aggressive spec. If you guys have peeked inside, maybe from the camera angles we've gotten so far, you can see it has the carbon buckets. It also has the carbon fiber roof, so lowers the center of gravity, looks cooler, does get rid of your moonroof functionality, but the carbon fiber roof is super cool, so I think that's a worthy trade-off. Also with the carbon fiber roof, you get these little fins in the roof that you don't get on the moonroof cars, and I think those look really cool. Just adds an extra aggressive element to the side profile of the car, as well as the front end from certain angles. Styling wise, also on the side, we have some pretty aggressive side skirts that jut out much more than an M340 or a 330i. A lot of the body panels for the M3 are specific to the M3. Bumper, fenders, hood, side skirts, all that stuff is unique. You can see from that angle, that's a good one, that the side skirts are pretty aggressive. They kind of fall out of the car a little bit. Another M3 signature is that flared rear fender, which continues on the G80. It is super aggressively flared, looks really nice, gives the car a fantastic stance from the rear end, and you can even, it's such an aggressive flare, you can see it kind of protruding even from the straight on side angle as well. If we want to come around to the back of the car, this is in my opinion the best angle on the G80. The front's good, the side's good, but the back end looks so aggressive. Taillights are really nicely designed with a pretty classic BMW L shape. You have a nice aggressive little spoiler. If you get the carbon exterior package, the spoiler, the diffuser, the wing mirrors, and some front bumper inserts are in carbon fiber on this car. Body color, we have our signature M quad tip exhaust with really aggressive exhaust tips, almost past the arm test, which look great. You have your diffuser, everything, of course, the bumper, the diffuser, it's all unique to the M3 back here. And if we want to step back and just get a straight on rear end shot, I think that's the best way to show off the G80. This is an awesome angle, especially in Black Sapphire Metallic, which is what this car is finished in. It just looks aggressive. You get the fender flares, the spoiler, the diffuser, the massive exhaust tips, these little extensions on the bumper. All looks really good. So that is going to do it for the exterior of the G80 M3. While we're back here though, we're not going to leave you guys hanging, so let's get a quick exhaust clip and then we'll move on to trunk space, rear seat space, and some stuff up front as well. So let's take a listen to the exhaust and then we'll continue. All right, so here we are around back of the G80 M3. Let's talk about trunk space, practicality. Is an M car, so it has to be a good daily as well, and it is with the trunk space. Plenty of room back here to fit some golf clubs, some luggage, groceries. You will not be wanting for cargo storage in your G80. The rear seats do fold down in a 40-20-40 split. Your latches for that are right here in the trunk, which is super easy. You can fold each seat down individually, so just great cargo capacity back here, and you do have a power tailgate when optioned. So super roomy trunk. Let's talk about the rear seat as well. Get the car unlocked here. And we can hop in the back and you'll see that I have plenty of space back here. This is my driving position in front. Admittedly, I do sit pretty close to the wheel. However, I have plenty of leg room, plenty of headroom. We're talking about like 90s 7 Series levels of space in the back of the G80. It has grown a lot in previous generations. It's only getting bigger, but that's great if you want the practicality of rear seat space as well as cargo area. You have it in spades. We do have 2 USB-Cs, some lighting controls, as well as climate in the back of the M3 as well. And if you option your M3 like this customer has, you get some pretty cool carbon fiber bucket seats to look at. It gives you an awfully nice view in the back of the M3 here. So the carbon fiber buckets are a $3,800 option, but they're worth it. I'll talk about it more when we actually sit in them, but from the back seat, it looks really cool. You have the hard carbon, you have the holes in the seat, so it just looks like you're sitting in the back of an aggressive car. But that's gonna do it for the back seat. As you can see, super roomy. Let's hop up front and talk about those carbon fiber bucket seats, as well as all the other stuff going on in the cockpit. All right, so here we are inside of the 2022 BMW M3 Competition. So first thing I want to point out about this car is that it is the performance spec. So it has the carbon fiber bucket seats, has the carbon fiber trim, and also if we click on the setup button here, you'll see that it has the variable traction control with the M drift analyzer. So that's really cool. We'll talk about that in a sec. First things first though, let's talk about these carbon fiber bucket seats. A lot of people are a little bit hesitant to order the carbon fiber buckets because it is such an aggressive seat. However, I will admit it is an extremely aggressive seat. It's a little bit hard to ingress and egress the car. But once you're in it, they feel so incredibly good. With the bolsters properly adjusted to your body width, you literally don't move in the car. You could take a turn at 5 Gs or something crazy. Obviously, you couldn't really do that in a car, but really serious G turn and you're not going anywhere. The shoulder supports hold you in place, really aggressive thigh supports. You even have a thigh bolster in between your thighs right here. So really incredibly aggressive seat, holds you in place so well. Not to mention, it is quite literally the best looking seat that has ever been put in an automobile. They look so good. So I'm a big fan of the carbon fiber bucket seats. I recommend ordering them on your G80 unless you have a hard time. Maybe you have some leg or back problems. If you think you would have a hard time getting out of the car for whatever reason, probably skip them. But if you're comfortable with getting in and out of the car, climbing over the bolster, no brainer, do it 100%. So those are the seats. Some other cool stuff, we do have carbon fiber trim, we have carbon fiber paddles, and of course, being an M car, we have our configurable M1 and M2 buttons. We also have our configurable gauge cluster as well as head-up display. So when I press the M mode there, I can switch between, this is our sport mode, and then we have our normal mode as well. And we can configure what is shown on the right side there. We can get tire temperature, boost pressure, all those cool performance metrics. And then through iDrive, we can configure what is shown over there on the left. Speaking about technology, this car is running iDrive 7 with live cockpit. This is the last model year 2022 that you'll be able to get iDrive 7 in a G80. For 23, it is getting not an LCI, but it is getting iDrive 8. We're excited to see how that works in the M3 and the M4. When we get one in, we will film it for you guys, but 2022 is the last year to get iDrive 7 in the G80, so if you want iDrive 7 in your G80, it's probably already too late to place an order, so go pick one up out of inventory or give us a call at BMW Morristown. We'll see if we can get you into one. So that is the infotainment stuff. We've done a lot of information on iDrive 7. If you want to see how the M stuff works in iDrive 7, go take a look at our most recent M8 video. But one cool thing that the M8 didn't have that this one does have is the variable traction control. So this, in an all-wheel drive car, you can only play with the variable traction control when you're in two-wheel drive mode. So I'm going to hold down traction control here to turn off the DSC. I'm going to pop it into two-wheel drive mode. Now I can play with my 10-stage traction control. So 0 is totally off, 10 is super aggressive traction control. I haven't had the chance to play with this on the street. However, you can in your G80 if you want to. You can play down here and see how well the car lets you slip, and then up here it'll protect you a little bit more. So really cool to see that, really innovative system. And what comes with that is the M Drift Analyzer, which is really fun. If we go into our M menu here, we have the Drift Analyzer. So you can start a drift session. The car will measure the length of your drift, how well you did. It'll even rate you. It'll give you a star rating on your drift. So that is really fun and just a really cool feature. It shows that BMW is willing to be playful with their cars. This is such a goofy feature to have a drift analyzer. It's not something the car needs at all. It's an absolute superfluous kind of just fun. BMW threw it in there let the people have some fun with their M3s and M4s. So I love to see BMW taking themselves not too seriously and giving us really cool features like that. Other than that, we do have the M 8-speed automatic transmission. It is an 8-speed, it is an auto. If you want a manual, you can get it if you get a base car. But that is going to do it for the interior of the G80 M3. The highlight in this one is, of course, the seats and the carbon fiber trim. This is just a really cool spec on the M3. The carbon buckets look great in Silverstone, but overall, big fan of the G80 M3. So that is going to do it for the interior of this car. Let's hop outside and wrap up. All right, so that is going to do it for this walk around and overview of the 2022 BMW M3 Competition xDrive. You might have noticed we changed scenes. We're downstairs now. Had to move the car around and whatnot, but that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video on the M3. If you have any questions, please drop them down below. If you have a suggestion for future videos, something you want to see on the channel, drop that down below as well. And please subscribe to the channel if you think we deserved it. DM us on Instagram, comment on our YouTube videos, all that stuff. We're super active on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at BMW of Morristown. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.